Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain TXB and today is the 11th of July 2023 and unfortunately guys, there's not much movement so far as the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is concerned, and tomorrow, that is the 12th, the CPI numbers or inflation numbers will be out, and based on that I'm pretty much sure there's going to be some movement either in a positive way or in a negative way regarding the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, so definitely keep an eye on the CPI numbers. Now in today's episode guys, we are going to be discussing some really interesting news, and that is regarding BRICS. And as you know guys, BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, and their goal is to displace the US dollar as a reserve currency, and looks like they are planning to have a new joint BRICS cryptocurrency. Now the news is that they're definitely trending in Google, and the Google trends regarding BRICS and de-dollarization has definitely reached a new matrix, so we'll definitely very briefly go ahead and talk about that. And guys, while I was just preparing for this podcast, I just saw a video by Bloomberg which actually talked about the US dollar value is reaching its all-time high and it has definitely peaked, so we'll definitely go ahead and talk about it. What does it mean so far as the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is concerned? Now it's really interesting guys that the value of the US dollar has peaked just one day before the CPI number is going to be out, and is that positive or is that negative? And the big question is, where does Bitcoin fit into all of this? So we'll definitely go ahead and look at that. Because listen guys, historically Bitcoin's price is inversely correlated with the value of US dollar, so we'll definitely go ahead and discuss what that news is all about. And guys, listen, every Mondays Glassnodes they tend to provide a weekly insight, and along with them CoinShares they tend to provide a weekly insight of what has happened in the previous week. Now what I'd really recommend you to do is read through the report yourself, and if you're a tech nerd or a geek and do like to look at charts and graphs, Glassnodes Insight is something that you definitely need to look at. But in today's episode, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to give you a combined overview of what that report says, particularly for last week, because the news is that guys, $500 million has been inflowed in Bitcoin BTC funds, so definitely positive news, and this probably just might be the sign of bullish indicators, so we'll definitely go ahead and talk about it. Now listen guys, ever since ChatGPT kicked in, there's a lot of news regarding artificial intelligence, and United Nations they recently had a press conference, and guess what guys, the press conference was done by artificial intelligence robot, so it looks like we're definitely living in a futuristic world, so we'll definitely go ahead and talk about that news in today's episode. And like we do in every Crypto and Coffee Day podcast, we're going to be discussing two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news is regarding a South Korean company called as NEOPLY, and they are the latest South Korean innovator to establish Abu Dhabi headquarters with ADIO support. So we'll definitely go ahead and talk about it. And the second news guys is to do with artificial intelligence, and Emirates Group has opened new innovation center for artificial intelligence, virtual reality and 3D products. Now mind you guys, Emirates Groups are definitely proactive so far as innovation is concerned, and I very specifically remember when Metaverse kicked in, they were one of the first companies probably in the entire world to train the staff on Metaverse and also in cryptocurrencies as well. So definitely positive news, and we'll cover that in today's episode. So quite a lot to cover guys in today's episode, so let's get started with it right away. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as we kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and Metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee at 8 has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. They'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us, from the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies. We'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee at 8, so tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee at 8, and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the Metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain and the Metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates, and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee at 8 aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE and Middle East region. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Shalhoub Group, a luxury retailer and distributor which is headquartered in Dubai, are getting into the NFT game. And here's the deal guys, they are not just getting into the NFT and metaverse space, they are going to be shaping the NFT metaverse and Web 3.0 space, which I believe is excellent not just for Dubai and UAE, but also for the global cryptocurrency community as well. And guys, Shalhoub Group's Web 3.0 sneaker brand called Soulmates revealed their first NFT collection on the 12th of April. Now what is really interesting is that it's called as Soulmates, so it's spelled as S for sugar, O for orange, L for Larry. Now instead of E, they've replaced it with Web3 and it is the number 3, mates.xyz. And guys listen, Shalhoub Group has over half a century's worth of experience in luxury goods, and them getting into the NFT space is a massive deal. Now if you're a sneakerhead, you definitely need to check out soulmates.xyz. And once again guys, the number is 3 instead of an E. It has all the information, and in the show notes below you'll get all the information. And listen guys, if you want to be an early adopter, you can also pre-mint it at www.premint.xyz/soulmates. So definitely check it out. And they have a Discord community as well. And guys, Nick, who is the head of corporate innovation at Shalhoub Group and also the co-founder of Soulmates, has a WhatsApp group where he constantly provides updates in the area of NFTs, Metaverse and Web 3.0. So guys, check out soulmates.xyz and be part of the Soulmates OG NFT that is definitely going to shape the industry. Next, Startup OI is global one tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast.
It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below.
Now guys, since you've taken care of that, let's kickstart by looking at the global cryptocurrency market. Now as of now, the global cryptocurrency market is at $1.19 trillion, and I wouldn't be surprised guys, once the CPI numbers are out, it might either cross the $1.25 trillion or it just might go below the $1.15 trillion, maybe even below the $1.10 trillion. What are your thoughts guys? Mention them in the comments below. Now since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 1.37%. The total cryptocurrency market volume though guys is not looking good at all. It is at $31.74 billion. And guys, listen, in 2020 and 2021, on an average given day, the total cryptocurrency market volume used to hover somewhere between the $80 to $120 billion. Fast forward to 2023, the volume is ridiculously low. As a matter of fact, I'm just thinking, in 2023 as of yet, the total cryptocurrency market has not crossed the $100 billion mark. There's just been few days where it has crossed the $50 billion mark. So really, I'm hoping hopefully in the second half of this year, or probably in the last quarter of this year, the total cryptocurrency market volume definitely touches the $100 billion mark, or maybe even the $150 billion mark. Now since the last 24 hours, it is up by 64.96%. Now let's look at the volume on DeFi guys, because once again the volume is ridiculously low and down to $2.07 billion, and DeFi guys is accounting for 6.53% of the total cryptocurrency market 24-hour volume. And listen guys, we talk so much about decentralized finance, we talk so much about movement of separation in money and the state, but unfortunately guys, the user adoption of DeFi is ridiculously less. And a few months ago, Uniswap did actually do a survey where they actually found out that the user experience is one of the reasons why the volume in DeFi is less. And this guys goes back to the whole notion of Web3 protocols. You always need to remember, in order for newer adoption, in order for people to switch in, the new experience has to be 10 times better. If you look at Threads, which is recently launched by Mark Zuckerberg, they have crossed 100 million users in just 24 hours. But if you were to compare the user experience, let's say with Twitter, the big question is it offering a 10x better user experience? Just switching current existing systems to a newer platform or protocol will just not cut it. So it's going to be really interesting to see if Threads continue the same user experience. Will it overtake Twitter? I definitely don't think so, but the user adoption is definitely taking place. Now going back to the news regarding DeFi guys, the total value locked is ridiculously low, only at $44.75 billion, and Lido still dominating with $14.56 billion. Now let's quickly look at the 24-hour volume of DeFi protocols, and this once again guys goes back to the user experience. And a few weeks ago I did ask my listeners, what is the user experience like when let's say you're using Uniswap or PancakeSwap, and some of them did actually send me email stating that the user experience is not for an average person. You definitely need to be a tech geek or a nerd in order to go and use DeFi protocols, and this guys unfortunately is one of the drawbacks of Web 3.0 protocols. But let's look at the numbers for now. Uniswap's 24-hour volume is $521.33 million, followed by PancakeSwap at $178.53 million. Balancer is number third at $93.39 million. Core Finance guys is $75.1 million, and Trader Joe $45.56 million. So definitely ridiculously low volume considering the fact we talk about decentralized finance. This number has to be at least 10 times or 20 times better. Could it be possible that after the next Bitcoin halving, this number will definitely shoot up to the moon? I definitely am hoping for that. Now let's look at the volume of stablecoins. Not only is it ridiculously low, it is also accounting for 93.34% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. Definitely not ideal. And yesterday guys, we talked about Tether USDT and also Circle USDC, how they are frozen $65 million. So mind you guys, when you're using stable coins, there is a very high possibility or extreme chances that your transactions can be censored. And unfortunately guys, stable coins are not following the ethos of open blockchain. Now the volume of stable coins is only at $29.62 billion, but it is still accounting for 93.34%. And here's the scariest bit guys, out of this $29.62 billion, Tether USDT is accounting for $22.05 billion. So in hindsight, you can also say that the entire global cryptocurrency market is actually surviving or actually working on Tether USDT. And what would happen if the SEC goes after Bitfinex, the issuer of Tether USDT, I wouldn't be surprised, guys, if that could just sign the end of cryptocurrencies. I definitely am hoping that thing does not happen. Now, Circle USDC's volume is only at $3.14 billion, and Binance BSD's volume is $2.27 billion. Now, mind you, guys, keep an eye on the market cap of Binance BUSD. It is on the verge of going below the $4 billion mark, and few months ago, guys, Binance BUSD's market cap was at $16 billion, and now it is on the verge of going below the $4 billion mark. I wouldn't be surprised after the CPI numbers are out, and depending on how mainstream media portrays the news, this will significantly impact the price of Binance BNB coin and also the market cap of Binance BUSD. Now let's look at the market cap, 24-hour trading volume and dominance between Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now Bitcoin's market cap is $588 billion, whereas Ethereum is at $222 billion. The 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin has definitely picked up pace. It is at $13.9 billion, and Ethereum is at $6.08 billion, and along with the 24-hour trading volume, guys, even the dominance has picked up, and Bitcoin's dominance is at 50%, and Ethereum's dominance is at 19.02%. Now in today's episode, guys, let me very briefly run through the market cap of smart contracting platforms and Web 3.0 protocols as well. And also, far as smart contract is concerned, Ethereum is clearly an outlier, and the number of dApps being built on Ethereum is definitely an outlier, and its market cap is $225 billion. Binance BNB chain is number 2nd, and its market cap is $38.17 million. And finally, Cardano, guys, at $10.14 billion. And guys, it's going to be really interesting to see as and when the news regarding artificial intelligence is gaining momentum, and as and when news regarding metaverse picks up pace, what the market cap of these smart contracting platforms are, let's say 3 to 5 years down the line. Personally, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if Cardano takes up the number 2 spot, or could it be possible that there are new platforms and new protocols created that are catered only to artificial intelligence protocols or even metaverse protocols? That would be really cool and interesting. Now, so far as Web 3.0 protocols is concerned, guys, Chainlink is number 1, and surprisingly, its market cap is more than privacy-preserving protocols such as Monero as well, and Chainlink's market cap, guys, is $3.36 billion. The number 2nd protocol is Filecoin, and its market cap is $1.90 billion. And finally, guys, the Graph at $1.05 billion. Now, in today's episode, guys, before we look at the price of the king of all king, that is Bitcoin, let me very briefly run through what Polkadot is. Because listen, guys, this whole terminology called Web 3.0 was actually termed by Dr. Gavin Wood, who was the co-founder of Ethereum. So whenever we talk about Web 3.0, always remember, guys, it was Dr. Gavin Wood who actually termed Web 3.0 going back to 2014, and I very specifically remember he was quite active in the Ethereum community, and he used to represent Ethereum quite a lot. Now mind you, guys, if you watch his videos, he does seem to curse quite a lot, but definitely a lot of useful information. Now the price of Polkadot, guys, is $5.13, and at the moment it is currently ranked at number 13. Now if you do want to find out any information regarding Polkadot, the website is polkadot.network. Now in today's episode, guys, let me very briefly run through what Polkadot is. Now I won't be able to cover everything regarding Polkadot, so I'll just give out basic level information as to what is Polkadot, what makes Polkadot unique, and I'll also try to give some information on Polkadot's new on-chain governance model, which I believe was just recently launched last year in June of 2022. So when you talk about Polkadot, guys, Polkadot is an open source sharded multi-chain protocol that actually connects and secure a network of specialized blockchain facilitating cross-chain transfer of any data or asset types, not just tokens. And this, guys, allows blockchain to be interoperable with each other. And Polkadot, guys, was designed to provide a foundation for a decentralized internet of blockchains, also known as Web 3.0. And Polkadot is known as a layer 0 meta protocol because it underlies and describes a format for a network of layer 1 blockchains, also known as parachains. And to be honest, guys, a lot of them also call it as parallel chains. Now, as a meta protocol, Polkadot is also capable of autonomously and forklessly updating its own codebase via on-chain governance according to the will of its token holder community. Now, one thing to remember, guys, that Polkadot provides a foundation support to decentralized web controlled by users and to simplify the creation of new applications, institutions, and services as well. And the Polkadot protocol can connect public and private chains, permissionless networks, Oracle, and future technologies, allowing these independent blockchains to trustlessly share information and transactions to Polkadot Relay Chain. Now listen, guys, this idea sounds really cool, But when will it get mainstream adoption? To be honest, guys, if you want my honest opinion, I really am not sure. Based on how the Web3 protocols are working, I wouldn't be surprised if it takes at least a couple of decades for blockchain protocols or Web3 protocols to go mainstream. Now, Polkadot also has a token called as DOT, and Polkadot's native token services has three clear purposes. That is staking for operation and security, facilitating network governance, and bonding tokens to connect parachains. And they also have four components. Now, I won't go into details because it might sound a bit too geeky, but just at the outset, guys, the four core components are relay chains, parachains, parathreads, and bridges. And once again, guys, if you want to find out more information, go to polkadot.network because that'll give you a much better idea. Now, let me very briefly run through who the founders of Polkadot is. And Polkadot, guys, is a flagship protocol of Web3 Foundation, which is a Swiss foundation with a mission to facilitate an open source, fully functional, and user-friendly decentralized web. And Polkadot's founder, guys, is Dr. Gavin Wood, Robert Haberman, and Peter Saban. And Dr. Gavin Wood, guys, is Web3's foundation's president and is well known for co-creating Ethereum. And he's also Parity Technologies founder and creator of smart contract coding language Solidity as well. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, that Dr. Wood also created the terminology called Web 3.0. And so far as Robert Habermas is concerned, he is a Thiel Fellow, an accomplished blockchain and cryptography researcher and developer. And Cesar Bangas is a former technology director of Web3 Foundation with a wealth of experience highly specialized in fintech industry. Now let me very briefly run through what is it that makes Polkadot unique, because Polkadot, guys, uses sharding multi-chain network. So what does that mean? It just means that it can process many transactions on several chains in parallel or parachains. And this parallel chain, guys, processes power and it improves scalability. And custom blockchains are quick and easy to develop using Substrate framework. And Substrate blockchains are designed to be easily connected to Polkadot's network. And here's the interesting bit, guys. The network is also highly flexible and adaptive, allowing the sharing of information and functionality between participants. And Polkadot can be automatically upgraded without the need for a fork in order to implement new features or remove bugs. And the network has a highly sophisticated user-driven governance system where all token holders have a vote in how their network is run, and teams can also customize their own blockchain's governance on Polkadot based on the needs and evolving conditions. And they also have nominators, validators, and collators, and all fulfill duties to help secure and maintain the network and eradicate bad behavior. Remind you guys, at the end of 2021, Polkadot successfully concluded its parachain auction, and the parachain auction followed an unpermissioned candle auction. And here's the thing, guys, the winning bid was the highest bid at the random moment the auction ended. And guys, last year during summer, Polkadot also announced new on-chain governance model. Now, I won't go into detail, I'll just very briefly run through what it is, because the protocol is set to overhaul the existing framework so that the network will become more entrenched in decentralized ethos. And the team also argued that the current governance system has elements of centralization, because remember, they also have a Polkadot Council, which is essentially a body of executives, and they had sole control over some decision-making process, including how the network's treasury is split. So because of this, guys, the new development replaced the existing governance infrastructure with a framework in the form of referendum. So in other words, guys, the new upgrade introduced a voting system allowing anyone to submit proposals and have them approved. So what I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding Polkadot, go to polkadot.network. Now, guys, let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. Now, unfortunately, guys, there's not much movement so far as the price of Bitcoin is concerned. But here's the interesting bit, guys. If you look at the Fear and Greed Index right now, it is at greed. Now, mind you, guys, in today's episode, the Fear and Greed Index I'm looking at is via alternativeme.com website, not via CoinMarketCap. Now, via alternativeme.com, it is showing as greed. Now, could it be possible that once the CPI numbers are out, we might see some bullish indicators regarding the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? And this is an information that also Glassnode's Weekly Insight has mentioned, and also CoinShares Weekly Insight has mentioned. But mind you, guys, so far as price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is concerned, all price predictions are 100% right, 50% of the time. Now, if you look at the price of Bitcoin, guys, it is at $30,243. Since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 0.34%, but over a period of 7 days, it is down by 1.52%. Ethereum is at $1,869. Since the last 24 hours, it is up by 0.36%. Since the last 7 days, it is down by 4.44%. Binance BNB Coin, guys, is at $245. It is up by 4.35%, and since the last 7 days, it is down by 1.23%. Now mind you guys, when the CPI numbers are out, what I tend to do is I tend to look at the price 3 to 4 hours before the CPI numbers are out, while the CPI numbers are out, and 3 to 4 hours after the CPI numbers are out. And what I've noticed guys, that 3 to 4 hours after the CPI numbers are out, the price tends to fluctuate, and the reason being mainstream media picks up this news, and depending on what narrative they give, that determines the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So keep an eye on the CPI numbers, but wait for at least 3 to 5 hours. And mind you guys, the mainstream media need not necessarily give the right narrative, and that's one of the reasons why I always says make sure you look at information from the first source. So those were the price related information guys. Now let's look at BRICS. And listen guys, BRICS is planning to create a reserve currency. Now mind you guys, this would also mean that they would no longer be using the US dollar, and now we're heading towards a world of de-dollarization. That is something which will be absolutely impactful, and unfortunately guys, the left-leaning administration is probably the one who's responsible for all this. Now recent data from Google Trends does actually reveal a surge of interest in BRICS, with search terms such as BRICS and de-dollarization and BRICS currency reaching their peak score last week, signifying the widespread curiosity on a global scale. And Bitcoin.com guys has reported that according to Google Trends, the search BRICS or BRIC, that is Brazil, Russia, India and South Africa, have skyrocketed to a perfect score of 100 out of 100 on the 3rd of July. And the day before guys, the search term BRICS garnered a score of 72 out of 100. And here's the interesting bit guys, Singapore and the United States emerged as the leading regions in search of the term de-dollarization, reflecting a global fascination with the subject. Likewise guys, the search term BRICS currency have been steadily gaining traction over the past months, and according to Google Trend data on July 2nd, this query searched a score of 38. And mind you guys, this news will be absolutely important, because what's going to happen is on August 2023, South Africa will host the leaders of Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, and among the items on the agenda, one of them is the creation of new joint BRICS currency. Now imagine guys, let's say for some wild instance, if they were to use Bitcoin, or if they were to use Lightning Network using Bitcoin, this would be an absolutely game changer. I wouldn't be surprised if the price of Bitcoin, just because of that use, would actually cross $100,000. Will that thing happen? I really am not sure. Because look guys, if you look at these 5 countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, none of them are pro-Bitcoin. China and India definitely has love-hate relationship, particularly so far as Bitcoin is concerned. But guys, if they were to use Lightning Network to facilitate transactions between these countries, it's going to be absolutely massive. So really I'm hoping guys that politicians who are working on this to educate themselves so far as the power of Bitcoin and power of cryptocurrencies. Now mind you guys, 99.99% of cryptocurrencies will not make much sense, but if let's say BRICS were to educate themselves on Lightning Network and Bitcoin, this will be an absolute game changer. And unfortunately guys, looks like the value or the power of US dollar might be going down. And just few minutes guys before I was going to release this episode, Bloomberg did actually release a video via YouTube that actually stated that the US dollar has actually peaked. Now what does this mean for the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? Now historically guys, Bitcoin is inversely correlated with the US dollar. Now if the CPI numbers are out tomorrow, could it be possible that the US is heading towards stagflation? And if that thing happens guys, the economy of US will be in absolutely dire crisis. You also need to remember guys, the banking financial crisis that happened a few months ago, and also the US debt ceiling has been temporarily increased. Now keeping all these things in mind, could it be possible that one of the leading nations does actually go and buy Bitcoin and put it as a reserve? Now mind you guys, if that thing happens, it's going to be an absolute game changer, but the likelihood of that thing to happen is definitely very less. Now guys, let's discuss some technical details. So what happens guys is Mondays, Glassnodes, they tend to provide a weekly insight, and they give a full snapshot of what has happened in the previous week. And along with them, CoinShares, they tend to provide a weekly blog as well via Medium. But what I used to do in the past is I used to look at that news, and I used to mention that in my Crypto and Coffee Date podcast. But what I realized guys, that these numbers have already happened, and unfortunately I could not see any correlation with what is happening in the current week and in the future week. So what I'm going to do today guys is I'm going to give you a summary of what Decrypt has actually mentioned, because what Decrypt did, they took the summary of Glassnodes, they took the summary of CoinShares, And what they are saying is that institutional investors have put $500 million worth of assets into digital asset investment products, mostly ones that hold Bitcoin in the last 3 weeks. And guys, the digital asset investment products registered $136 million in inflow in the past 7 days, which brought the 3-week total to $470 million. And they also stated that Glassnode's Insight also noted that exchange inflows are at a cycle low, registering $2.3 billion in deposits. In conjunction with today's CoinShares report, these numbers guys suggest that institutions might be bullish. Now listen guys, I do have this feeling that tomorrow's CPI numbers is going to make a massive deal, particularly in setting the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and looks like the inflation numbers might be ridiculously low. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens to the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies based on the inflation numbers. Now guys, let's discuss some disruptive technology, and that is to do with artificial intelligence. And what happened guys is that the United Nations did actually hold a robot press conference about the state of artificial intelligence, and the event was called as AI for Good Global Summit, and it was hosted by the United Nations Tech Agency. And what they did guys, they invited a pool of robots and the creators to a press conference to answer questions from experts. Absolutely crazy stuff. And Cointelegraph has reported that a panel of robots and the creators sat in front of the press to answer journalists' questions on topics such as job automation, artificial intelligence, leadership, and collaboration for a better future. Now imagine guys, the robots are giving you answers, and if you know what ChatGPT is and what ChatGPT 4 is, the future looks absolutely scary. And I very specifically remember we're also talking about ChatGPT 10, which most likely will happen in the next coming decades. So could it be possible guys, by the year 2030, we might be taking interviews directly from robots? Trust me guys, there is a very high possibility for that thing to happen. And when that thing happens guys, trust me, it's going to be absolutely crazy. It's kind of like the Terminator movie playing in real life. Now guys, let's discuss 2 news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news guys has to do with blockchain, and the second one has to do with artificial intelligence. So the news is that NEOPLY becomes latest South Korean investor to establish Abu Dhabi headquarters with ADIO support. So let me very briefly run through what that news is all about. Because South Korean blockchain technology company NEOPLY will establish its global headquarters in Dubai with the support from ADIO or ADIO, and NEOPLY joins ADIO's innovator program, which promotes the growth of tech-focused industries in Abu Dhabi. And the company provides a decentralized finance or DeFi platform and service-based blockchain technology. And the global headquarters, called as HLab, will be located in the Abu Dhabi global market and benefit from its advanced regulatory framework. And Abu Dhabi, guys, as you know, has become a popular destination for innovative South Korean companies in recent years. And a few months ago, guys, I do remember that even the South Korean president did actually visit Abu Dhabi, and there were quite a lot of roadshows where Abu Dhabi firms were actually in South Korea. So going back to the news, guys, ADIO or ADIO has opened an office in Seoul and supported companies like Bestman Global and KPTS Consortium in establishing and expanding their operations in Abu Dhabi. And NEOPLY's parent company, called as Neovis Holdings, discussed establishing blockchain activities in Abu Dhabi with ADIO, and Abu Dhabi's enabling environment, infrastructure, and skilled talent make it an attractive investment destination. And guys, if you know, Abu Dhabi's environment right now is absolutely brilliant, and Abu Dhabi's enabling environment, infrastructure, and skilled talent make it an attractive investment destination. And NEOPLY's establishment, called as HLab, contributes to the development of blockchain sector in Abu Dhabi. And the HLab guys will collaborate with Abu Dhabi universities on blockchain-related programs and scholarships as well. And NEOPLY aims to become one of the first regulated DeFi providers in the world. Now this statement, guys, does not make any sense, because when you talk about DeFi, that is actually decentralized finance. Now looks like NEOPLY is taking centralized authority in making this decision. So this statement, I definitely do not agree to. But nonetheless, the company will work with ADGM and FSRA to develop a progressive regulatory framework for decentralized finance. It doesn't make sense, guys, when you're talking about decentralized finance and NEOPLY aiming to become one of the first regulated DeFi, which just means, guys, that there is a central entity which is responsible for making these changes. This goes against the very ethos of decentralization or DeFi, but nonetheless, ADGM introduced a comprehensive regulatory framework for virtual assets going back to 2018, and ADIO's innovator program provides long-term opportunities for private sector growth in Abu Dhabi. And while the program focuses on sectors such as agricultural technology, also called as AgTech, financial services, healthcare services, ICT, industry and tourism, and ADIO has a global network coverage in cities like Beijing, Frankfurt, London, New York, Paris, San Francisco, and in Israel as well. And the innovation program, guys, is a catalyst for development and diversification of Abu Dhabi's economy. And IDIO's innovation program, guys, has a budget of 2 billion dirhams, which is roughly around $545 million. So definitely positive news, I guess. But again, guys, having a centralized entity to make a decision to regulating your DeFi protocol just does not make any sense. Now, guys, let's discuss some news to do with artificial intelligence and Emirates Group and airline industry. And the news is that Emirates Group's opens Innovation Center featuring artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and 3D products. So let me very briefly run through what that news is all about, because Emirates Group, guys, has launched the Innovation Majlis, an innovative platform at its Dubai headquarters. And the platform, guys, features products powered by artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and 3D exhibits. And the innovation platform, guys, aims to support staff in exploring new horizons and driving the future of aviation industry. It facilitates the exchange of cutting-edge ideas and showcases robotics, hyperreality, holograms, 3D printers, and other advanced technologies. And the exhibit includes an automated mobile manipulator for order deliveries and artificial intelligence-powered glasses for augmented reality interactions. This, guy, sounds like a brilliant move for Metaverse. And they also have haptic gloves where it enables touch interaction with virtual reality, while 3D printing solutions and advanced water filtration is also available. So definitely a futuristic concept. And guys, the platform offers optimized video conferencing, automatic wireless charging, and 3D holographic displays with generative AI functions. And the Emirates Group, guys, sees innovation as fundamental to its core values, culture, and mindset. And the innovation platform brings together partners, top tech companies, and entities to address industry challenges. And guys, the aviation industry, as we know, is undergoing a technological transformation to enhance travel experiences. Now with Metaverse, guys, could it be possible that you don't need to travel as well, and you can experience all these things sitting at home with the haptic devices? The possibilities are absolutely endless, and the Emirates has adopted technology to drive efficiency and improve customer service. And guys, the company also launched a platform called Asara, the world's first check-in robot assistant for a faster travel experience. It's a really cool concept. And guys, listen, digital assessments, artificial intelligence, and other recruitment systems are being used in a mammoth recruitment device as well. And Emirates phased out paperboarding passes, promoting a digital-first strategy and sustainability. And the airline associated $200 million for research and development projects focused on advanced fuel technology as well. And the innovation Majlis reflects the company's commitment to staying at the forefront of the aviation industry. And guys, the platform enables collaboration and innovation among industry players and technology experts. And Emirates, guys, embraces technology to adapt to industry changes and improve operations and sustainability. Now this, guys, is a perfect use case of artificial intelligence merging with technology, and to be honest, guys, this just might be a game changer for the metaverse industry as well. So definitely positive and brilliant news. So that's about all, guys, from Crypto and Coffee Date from Blockchain DXP. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxp.com. Check out my website, that is www.blockchaindxp.com. And also check out my website, that is area2071.com, that talks everything about Metaverse. And guys, if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now for the next few minutes, it's going to be an Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's get started with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's Josh from Blockchain DXP. You're listening to the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, pure blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have a question by Kapil who asks, do you think the price of Bitcoin will pump after the announcement? Kapil, I do not give out any price predictions, and any cryptocurrency influencers who are stating that the price will pump up to the moon after the CPI numbers are out are 100% wrong. Or rather, as I always say, Kapil, all price predictions are 100% right 50% of the time. Now what I really recommend you to do is look at the price 3 to 4 hours before the CPI numbers are out. While the CPI numbers are out, and 3 to 4 hours after the CPI numbers out. And coupled yesterday in my podcast, I did actually mention where Coinpedia did actually publish an article which stated that traders, what they tend to do is they tend to manipulate this news, and even Bitcoin whales and cryptocurrency whales, they look at these macro level factors and they tend to manipulate this moment. If everyone is under the assumption that the price will go up, it could be possible that these whales or market manipulators will actually dump the coin, so you definitely need to pay a lot of attention. Now mind you, Kapil, everything that I'm saying right now is definitely not financial advice, and do your own research. Now what I tend to do in my podcast, I only give information so far as the macro level factors. I rarely make any price predictions, but I do have this feeling that after the CPI numbers are out, we might temporarily see a price movement, and the reasoning I feel is because looks like the inflation numbers will show up less. And roughly around 45 days ago, even the US debt ceiling was increased, and looks like the market is going to get a breather, and there will be more funds injected into the market, and the overall numbers might be looking good. And mind you, Kapil, later on in the month, on the 26th of July, Jerome Powell will be announcing what the interest rate hike is. So combination of these factors would actually decide if the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is concerned. But unfortunately, Kapil, all price predictions are 100% right 50% of the time. So focus on the technology, look at the macro level factors, and then make up your own mind. Unfortunately, I cannot give out any price predictions, and this is not financial advice as well. So that's about all, guys, from the Ask Me Anything series in Blockchain DXB. In case if you have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. Check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my website ADIO2071.com that talks everything about metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And guys, remember, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee Date, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. Now, this series of episodes on the Crypto and Coffee Date works is we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well, news that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other two news and information is related to Dubai, UAE, and Middle East in the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. And what you're listening to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.